Look, I'm making this video kind of on a whim, purely because I've had some pretty interesting stories recently that I want to talk about. I love Facebook Marketplace. I scroll that thing so often, to the point where I don't really buy much stuff off of it. I just like seeing the stupid ass listings. I actually don't like buying stuff on Marketplace. In fact, the last thing I bought off Marketplace was this. It's a Super Nintendo that I bought for way too much money that doesn't even work and is disgusting. It literally does not work, and I got completely scammed, and it basically turned me off ever wanting to buy anything off Marketplace ever again. But that hasn't stopped me from scrolling Marketplace and just seeing the funny listings. Now, I don't ever buy any of these funny listings purely because they're either way too expensive or way too stupid. In fact, hold on. Let me show you. Gotta find the screenshot so that I can relay the information. I was talking to this woman on Marketplace and she was selling Steve Jobs with the description of Steve Jobs for $5. What am I supposed to do with that? I thought it was a joke listing, so I messaged her going, hey, is this still available? She replies with, yes, are you interested? Now, I was expecting her to make some kind of joke like, oh yeah, no, he's still here, he's still kicking around, because I thought it was a joke listing. Yes, are you interested? Implies that there's actually something to buy here. So I reply out of pure confusion, just to be clear, are you selling the Steve Jobs? Where did you find him? I thought we were still playing like on a joke. And then she replies, get a life, loser. Get a life, loser. What are you selling? And so I have to reply out of pure confusion because I never wanted to upset this lady. So I just go, is this a serious listing? Genuinely didn't know what the product was. Are you selling a poster or a book or something? And then she blocked me. So unfortunately, I will never know why Steve Jobs was in the description of this listing. So yeah, there's a lot of really stupid listings like that on Marketplace that I absolutely adore just looking at, appreciating, and never really engaging with, because I don't want another Steve Jobs situation where I actually upset someone that's actually trying to sell something. Apparently people just don't know how to make real listings on Marketplace. That was until a couple days ago. See, one of my friends who knows that I scroll Marketplace religiously sent me a listing for what is probably the best thing I have ever seen. I need to get the green screen back out. I'm honestly not sure why I put it back down for like 2 seconds. This person was selling the Wii Sports Fedora hat. Wii Sports Fedora. Now, it gets better. Let's read the description. Up your fedora tipping game with this classy piece. Impress your date, spouse, or elderly neighbor with your impeccable sense of style. No dates? No problem. Wear this to your next job interview or performance review and watch in awe as the power of the fedora capitulates you to CEO. Everyone will ask, what's the secret to your success? And only you who know the truth. And this last line is really what pushed me over the edge. The question is, can you not afford to own this? Now, look, I got through this entire listing and just thought, haha, that's funny, I'll scroll past. But it was only $10 and it was pretty close by to where I go to uni. And so I thought, you know what? Fuck it. For the first time in however many months, I'm going to actually engage with Marketplace and see if I can just have some fun with this fedora. I actually really don't know what to put in the green screen behind me right now, so editor me come up with something funny. So after meandering on for a little bit and thinking to myself, this person's obviously had some fun with the listing and wants someone to engage in a bit of a humorous way, I thought, I've got to reply with a little bit of humor, but also a bit of seriousness, because I'm not really built like someone who would write a description like that. And so I reply with, good day. I would be very interested in completing my outfit with this fedora. Could I pick it up tomorrow at about 5? I go to uni nearby, but don't finish my class until the afternoon. Pretty reasonable. I mean, I messaged on the day that the listing came out, and I gave them a time frame and a reason for it being so late in the afternoon. And they replied, good day, monsieur. You are indeed a gentleman of fine taste and discernment. 5 tomorrow should provide ample time for my ambulation towards my abode. Who is this magical person? Why are they talking to me with such amazement? And just to lock everything in, I say, this is absolutely fantastic, whereabouts are you? And they drop their address. And then I say to them, I shall make my way to your quarters tomorrow at 5. And that is where the conversation stopped. I prepared to go to class tomorrow and then leave picking up a fedora. Now, in all honesty, I was very excited about this. See, I had an assignment due on that same day that I was not very prepared for, and I was honestly quite nervous. It was a presentation, and I thought everyone else in the class is way more prepared than me. They're gonna have way better presentations. I'm gonna do terribly. But you know what? I persevered, and I persevered because I thought at the end of a horrible, horrible day, that fedora is gonna uplift my spirits. That fedora is gonna change my life. That fedora is what's gonna make it all worth it. And so I got through the presentation, I got through the day, but the class finished an hour early. I'm pulling up the green screen again. I don't know why I keep putting it down. Hello, good sir. I finished my classes early, so I could come now to collect the fedora. However, I am happy to wait until 5 if this works better for you. Now, I said this because we agreed on 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock was the time that we had said we will meet up at, and so I thought it was unreasonable to expect me to be able to pick it up earlier. So even though I would have to wait an hour before going over, I was willing to cop that loss and just move on, wait an hour, and then get my glorious reward. However, they replied, "Hark, my good sir, I apologize, but I've been caught up at work. I'll leave shortly, but it might be closer to 5:15 or 5:30 when I'm home. Would it be okay to come around by then?" Now this is where travel comes into play. See, I live 40 minutes away from where I was picking this up on a good day. I live quite a ways away from where I go to uni, which means I live quite a ways away from where I was picking this fedora up. And 5:30 on a weekday? That means it's terrible, terrible, terrible traffic. Everyone's coming home from work, and if I was to leave at about that time, I wouldn't make it home for the next 2 hours after that, and I didn't really fancy waiting that long. We agreed on 5, I was fine with 5, but 5:30 was stretching it just too much. That half hour makes all the difference. And so I sent a reply. "I'm also in the area on Thursday if you're free then. I don't want you to rush." Now, I said this in a somewhat joyous way. See, I didn't want them to rush getting through work. I didn't want them to feel obligated to, cut their losses and make their way home as soon as possible, just so I could get the fedora. I have another class on Thursday. I could pick it up on Thursday if they're free. And so, this is where it went. Thursday's a bit up in the air at the moment. I might be taking the day off, so it's a maybe. I've got to confirm that. Would today be a bit hard after 5? Now, I didn't get a chance to reply and tell them that it would be before they said this. "I'll put in my leave now. I'll check with my boss. What time on Thursday are you thinking?" "I'm in class 1:30 to 4:30, but free at any other point in the day before or after." And they said, "Cool, probably after then." So to me, this was indication that Thursday was okay. Thursday was reasonable and that I could just go home. But I wanted to double check before I left, because if they sent me a message going, "Oh, Thursday doesn't work, but I'm home right now," then I'm already home, and 40 minutes back and forth just to pick up a fedora was not worth it for me. So before I left, I sent this message. "Okay, happy to do Thursday then? I can wait until 5:15, 5:30 today, but I don't want to get stuck in traffic. I live up in the hills." Now, on my way home, because I didn't get a response for 10 minutes after this, and I was just like, well, I'm going home. Damn, the hills is hard. I'm just on the train now. If you're still around, it might line up. But otherwise, we can certainly do Thursday. Now, I didn't get a chance to reply for a little bit because I was driving and I don't check my phone while I'm driving. But when I got home, I said Thursday would be preferable. At this point, Thursday was a necessity. I was already home. I'm not going back out there. And that is where the conversation takes a dark, dark turn. So we get through all the night. I'm thinking, all right, Thursday, I'm picking up this fedora. I've had a pretty bad streak, but you know what? Thursday is the day my life changes. I get to go on with this fedora and live the rest of my life in joy. I'm gonna sneeze, hold on. Never mind, I stifled the sneeze. We are not sneezing today. But at 9 o'clock at night, I get a reply that changes the trajectory of my life forever. "My good sir, is there a possibility we could exchange the goods and currency sooner? This piece of exquisite headwear is proving far more popular than I had originally anticipated. The inquiries keep coming, and it'll be good to close this one out sooner if possible. Just feel bad turning folks away." Now, I understand that if you're a marketplace and you're trying to sell a piece of literal gold, such as this fedora, and everyone's rushing towards you, why would you hold out for someone that's waiting 4 days later? I mean, it makes sense, and at this point, I was pretty devastated. I mean, we had just made this deal, we had agreed on Thursday, and now I was being turned away. So, defeated, I sent this reply. I understand the demand to sell this prized property. Whilst unfortunate for me and my attire, I wouldn't be able to collect any earlier than Thursday. I appreciate your patience and understand if you need to relinquish yourself of the fedora earlier. Now, they read this message and they didn't reply to me, but the fedora did disappear. I missed out on what would have been a prized possession to my outfit. And all this time I'm thinking to myself, if I didn't rush home on Monday, if I didn't leave that early, if I just copped the extra 2 hours of traffic, I could have changed my entire life. I could have gone into a job interview and come out as CEO. I could have gone on a date and left with a lifelong partner. This fedora could have changed everything about my life. And now I've got nothing. I have to go on without this. Now, I don't like Marketplace, as I said before. I don't like buying stuff off of it. I don't like engaging with it. I just like seeing the humorous things. And it's unfortunate to me that the first time in however many months that I decide to engage, I get turned down right at the end. And it's on me. I waited. And I shouldn't have waited. So this is your lesson. If you find the Wii Sports Fedora on Marketplace, if you find your Wii Sports Fedora, don't wait. Pick it up before it's too late. I wanted to do a really dramatic walkout, but I didn't really know how else to end the video, so yeah, goodbye.